Hey Alpha Fam, Coach Jam here with another market update. Before we begin, I do want to say that nothing in these videos is financial advice. Everything's for educational purposes only. It's just my own analysis on the market. Also, if you're new to the Alpha Syndicate channel, if you could please give us a like, comment, and a subscribe, we really do appreciate the support. So let's get to the market, guys. The market is pumping. Why? Because Trump made this announcement. All right. Basically, what he stated that Iran and America have been in talks over the last couple of days, and they have decided to do a 5-day ceasefire. All right. This has obviously caused a lot of euphoria to come back into the market, but I don't want to get too excited yet. All right. And I'll explain a couple of reasons why. This is extremely good. All right. This is a good thing. This is no denying that. But if at any time during this that Iran or Israel decides to try to do something sneaky and bomb each other, this entire move can be completely eradicated, guys. You just completely erased, all right? But until then, this is still going to be bullish, and I'm very interested to see the U.S. market opening today. What's very interesting is look at, this is futures, S&P 500. It is up currently 2.8%. You have NASDAQ up 2.38%. I think Trump knew he had to do something fast. We've been talking about the immense weakness that we've been seeing in the stock market. We know that the stock market, according to our Wyckoff, looks like it is definitely inside of a distro, and this distribution is going to lead to a downtrend, which will cause a broader correction to the market. And honestly, guys, crypto's already been beat down. We really didn't want to see a broader correction in the stock market. We would prefer, instead of this being one of those situations, that this actually turned into being like a descending wedge pattern. This thing's coming into massive amount of support. You can see it right here. All right, and this is NASDAQ. Y'all saw the same thing basically on futures for S&P 500. It's in this major area of support, and it's making this like massive descending wedge pattern, and this thing actually decides to break to the upside. And instead of being a distro, it's just it's kind of an accumulation, range that also kind of develops a bull flag. That you can see the same thing on futures. And again, Trump understood that these were both at critical levels, and that he needed to do something now, all right? Because Trump doesn't want the stock market going through a broader correction right now. We got midterms coming up. So Trump also knew that he had to not only do something about the issue, but he also knew more than anything, he needed to get the price of oil down. Look at oil right now, guys. We're down currently 9.86% on the day. It's kind of crazy. Look at this thing. From the top to the bottom of this wick right here is a 29% move in oil, guys. It is insane. Just today, this move right now is roughly about 17.5%, guys. Insane move. All right. So we're seeing oil come down, and we need to see oil come down. And Trump knows he needs to see oil come down because he knows that with oil and oil going up, what's going to end up occurring is inflation's going to go up. And when inflation goes up, what ends up happening next is then you're going to start seeing the price of all goods go up. And now it's going to give the Fed even more of a reason not to cut those interest rates. All right, guys? And we know that Trump wants his interest rates cut. Plain and simple. He wants them cut. So looking at this is very interesting, guys. And again, very interested to see the U.S. market open. Markets are obviously pumping. All right. It's obviously, this has been a very good announcement for the markets. And let's look at Bitcoin dominance. This is pretty interesting too. So we've been talking about Bitcoin dominance for a while, how it's been basically compressing into this very tight range for a long time. It's coming back up and doing a bearish retest on the 50. You can see on the weekly what it's doing. And guys, this thing is going to break soon. And when it does, I think it's going to move violently. And it's still a little early to say whether that's to the up or to the down. But when it does, guys, when you have something that's been in this tight range, this thing's been in here for 210 days. I mean, that's a long time, guys. All right. So when this thing moves, it's going to definitely move fast. And not only that, looking at USDT dominance is something interesting too. So if you come over here on the daily, I'm hoping, because we still got, plenty of the day to go, that this thing actually, where it's finding support on the 50, breaks back below it. All right. And we really want to see this thing break back below this 50-day. And on the 4-hour, you can see we have broken back below it. And we need to see this thing go down to the downside. And not only do we need to see it go down, but we need to see as this thing starts to wave back over, you see how it did it right here, where it does a bearish retest and then continues to move down. And if it does, then hopefully, guys, maybe hopefully, this range will be over, and then we can start moving down, and then price appreciation on some alts. Again, I don't want to get too excited and say, yeah, local bottom's in, we're going to Valhalla now, guys, because again, there is a very high probability that one of these countries over there decides to do something stupid and bombs each other, and this completely gets erased. All right, guys? So don't get too excited yet, and I would still highly recommend still having those limit orders, still sticking with your strategies, and just watching how these things play out over the next couple of days. So I think it's been very interesting, though, guys. And the one thing I think is going to help crypto more than anything, and even though it's probably going to have a little bit of a bounce today, is gold and the metal trade unwinding why this has all occurred, which has been very weird because typically with wars or geopolitical uncertainty in areas, especially like this, you typically see metals surge. And that's because nobody wants to hold any country's fiat or any country's money, because if they're in a country and that country's money decides it's no longer going to be worth anything, they don't want to be holding it. So typically you see these things go up, but we've seen the exact opposite, which has been very interesting. Not only that, but it's gone down to the point where, and I mean, if you look at this thing from the top to its bottom, guys, it's kind of insane. And this is gold. 26% fluctuation on gold in the last, just the last few months is kind of crazy, guys. And then the same thing for silver, and again, you might see these things have a little bit of a green day, but these things have come down quite considerably, guys, where I think, and this is down 50% from its local top, where I think you're going to start seeing people realize that the metal trade is kind of unwind a little bit. And then I think we're going to start seeing that liquidity rotate down the risk curve. And I think crypto, honestly, guys, is going to catch a bid. I mean, it just kind of makes sense. It's time to shine. And what I mean by that is quantitative easing is here, guys. Like, they are printing money. And nobody's really even talking about this, but they just put another $9.6 billion in. They just did $17 billion before then, $15 billion before then. This thing is definitely going up. And this is the condition where bull runs are actually created, where they actually thrive. This is the conditions where crypto actually catches its momentum. And if we can get rid of the war FUD, why we got a new SEC guy, why we got a new Fed guy coming in whose whole goal is to lower interest rates in the middle of QE in a midterm year, guys, start putting the pieces of the puzzle together. And again, this is the first time you ever see my content. My name's Coach JM. I've been a digital asset investor for over 5 years. I'm the founder of Alpha Syndicate, and I also host all the Crypto Talk workshops inside of Capital Club. And if you want to learn this stuff, guys, if you want to see how we combine the macro, the fundamentals, the technical analysis all together, and in order to give us an edge on the market, if you want a place where you can get coached and mentored by people like me and have a place to be able to network with other entrepreneurs and traders, click the link below, guys. We'll see you inside.